Oh God. All right, here we go. Here we go.
That is a common question I get, Josh, about what's going on with your um, dating life,
Mm,
about women in your life, men in your
okay.
life, just any partners. I don't want to pigeonhole you that you may have.
You're a
Do you
good
wish to
dude.
address that in any way?
No, I don't. I
Matt, would you
don't at
like
all.
Matt, would you like to answer for Josh?
Oh gosh.
No, God, no. Josh is one, like, I try not to answer any questions for anyone. And Josh is very high on the list of ones that even if I want to answer, I'm not going to. Oh, Josh, that reminds me. The reason I was calling you yesterday, we'll talk about it off this, but after a whole conversation yesterday, I hung up the phone. I was like, I forgot to ask him the question of why I called him.
Perfect. Perfect. We had a great conversation. We talked about a lot of stuff, and then yeah, I mean sometimes our conversations just run that way, and then we forget why the real reason we called. So it's good. I like it.
Almost sounds like you guys are friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost.
Definitely. We're almost friends. Almost.
Your commercial, Josh, was pretty amazing.
Yeah, man. I loved it. It was a great the patent. Oh,
Yeah.
so good. So good.
Did you see that, Matt?
No, I missed this.
Good dude. Wait, we're not friends. We're not friends, you bastard. Yeah, it's good. It's like this like monologue of like a bunch of different pictures of George Patton and me, and then like a bear, and then me.
Oh.
Then yeah.
I got really
It's
confused
really
there. I
good.
thought Sevan was talking about your Super Bowl commercial, and I was like, I thought we already talked about this.
Yeah, no. Not
This is
talking
old
about
news.
that.
This is
Nah.
weeks ago.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's like it's March, bro. Come on.
Who did that? It really, really is good. I went back and watched it again like 3 times last night, 4 times. Who
So his
made
name's
that?
His name's Con Williamson. He's our marketing guy now. He's a pure genius, and he's got the creamiest voice ever. Maybe when we have a guest on this show, we can bring him on because he's just a great guy. He has so much good things, ideas, and stuff, and like I said, the sexiest voice I've ever heard. And so, yeah, he's a great dude. He actually was one of the guys who helped produce The Most Interesting Man in the World with Dos Equis. And so I brought him on not that long ago, like a month or so, probably maybe 2 months ago now, and he's just hit the ground running, and he's helping us out drastically. It's been awesome.
Wait, Josh, did we meet
So-
this guy like years ago?
I've known Con for probably about 4 years now. He works with Killcliff on some of their stuff,
That's
and
it.
that's where I
That's
met
where
him.
it was.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember meeting the guy that was like behind the Most Interesting Man in the World commercials.
Yeah.
And as soon as you
Yep.
said it, I was like, I think we met this guy together like a while back. Yeah. I don't remember much about him. I remember that I
maybe-
really liked him. He was super funny.
Yeah, yeah, super funny, super great guy. He's a vet now. Runs a marketing company.
Gotcha.
Our media company, and we brought him on board. And man, he's doing great things, and he's got great ideas coming. So, yeah.
I mean,
I'm
if
really
you made
excited.
those commercials, you know
Yeah.
you got someone good.
Right.
Well, I'm really happy for you. I'm very
Hey,
happy for
The
you.
donkeys, he's actually like he's having the donkeys, our delivery donkeys, work out more. So he's trying to get them up to speed, get them in shape,
Good.
get those deliveries a little quicker.
I
see
wish
that
I,
you're-
I wish I
see
had
that-
some. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I
Talk
was gonna
about
see-
me. Talk about me. Talk about me. Talk about me.
I see you got a haircut, Sevan. You look good, man.
I did. Thank you. Supercuts.
Did you do it yourself? Oh, you didn't do it yourself?
No, I
Not
tipped
that
the lady
skilled?
$10. I was she cut the top with her fingers, and you told me you clipped the top, and so I was kind of like I kind of really wanted to go for the exact same look you have, but
Okay. You look good. Hey, you look good.
Savon, you
so-
have one of the biggest swings in your age, like how you look
Oh,
from when you go
yes.
from a beard and long hair to clean shaving. You shave off like 20 years minimum.
when you're 50, you'll be able to do that too.
I already got grays coming in,
Yeah.
but my facial hair doesn't grow in evenly. Like I get it, like just doesn't grow in here or here. And someday,
Joe
Hey,
Westerland's.
Look
go
at
ahead.
my facial hair. This is how it grows in. I don't shave my face. Like
Just
you wanna
Joe
talk about
Dirt.
uneven facial hair. This is all clean, baby, and I don't even shave it.
It couldn't be any better. What ethnicity are you, Josh?
My mom is like Irish and Polish, and then my dad is a mutt. Like he's everything. I don't really, have it. I
Josh
don't
is
have like a
as
big
American as they come.
exactly.
Do-
Born
do
on
you
the
have-
4th of July.
That's right.
Do you have Asian in you?
No,
Or do you have any Japan? No, none.
I think I have American Indian in me. And I think that's where because I don't have any hair on my body either, right? I don't have chest hair. I have barely any armpit hair. And my dad's the same way. And so, yeah, I think that's it could be the Indian in us.
I just read an article, no joke, that having body hair is a sign of good levels of testosterone.
Oh man, I'm screwed. My testosterone levels are actually typically low. The only thing I got my testosterone levels to come up was doing the intermittent fasting. I did it for a year or like 8 months, and I checked my hormone levels afterwards, and they like almost doubled. Because I'm typically like, for a while I was sitting in like the low 400s, and it went up to like over 700. I was pretty pumped.
Damn.
That would explain the condom that's been in your wallet for 30 years.
It's not a big deal. Still there.
If you're good with it, buddy.
I don't even have a wallet. That's the funny thing.
Do you not have a wallet?
I do, but it's more like a credit card holder.
It's more like a purse.
That's what wallets are.
But it doesn't fold, I guess.
Oh, okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So, on to more real things. Serious rumors that are flying around the community.
Here we go. I heard a rumor.
Serious
We
rumors
should make
flying
a shirt.
around.
We should make a shirt. I heard a rumor.
I'm hearing rumors from multiple sources, Matt, that you are going, because the prize money is changing this year, that you are dusting off the Metcons and you've started getting at it.
Okay, let's talk about the rumors that are going around of like it's the biggest prize purse ever. They can add $1 onto the prize purse, and the prize purse is the whole thing. I always get this confused. That's for all the places all the way down. That's not just first place.
Right.
And then
The only one you care about, right, Matt?
yeah, why would I care about what 20th place gets paid? Like
Exactly. Agreed. We don't
but
get paid
then-
anything down there. I'll let you know.
Yeah, so I mean, like you see the things that get put out there of like the biggest prize purse. So it's like, nope, I don't read into anything until it's fact, not just like an exaggeration that it's like, well, it's not a lie, so it's true. No, it's an exaggeration. And B, the prize purse would have to be very astronomical for me to even consider going and competing again.
Like how much?
I have an idea.
Would an extra 100,000 do it?
Oh my God, no! Not even close. Like even if the prize purse, even if the prize purse was like an even million, I would still like. I'm not even really considering it.
$1 million. If it was $1 million for just to win the CrossFit Games, not including winning the events that you won, all of which last year except for 2, it's still not even a thought in your head.
No.
I want to see these. I want to see these checks rolling in from Hybrid, baby. I want to see them. Let me see them. Send it. Send it.
No, even for $1 million, like, it's not tempting for me.
I'm really, really against paying down the line, and I think Consensus Fit, I think that is what they're going to do. I think they are going to spread the money out to lower places, and I'm
it's all
really, really
inclusive.
against that.
I
Yeah,
think-
I'm not a
I think
fan of
it's-
that.
Hold on. Hold
I
on.
think second and third place should be. I think they've been trending in the right direction. I remember it was like when first place was like 275, and then second place was like 50 or 70.
50. Yeah.
50.
Yeah.
That's a steep drop. I think second place is bumping up. I think it went from first place is 300 to now maybe second place is 115. I think that's more appropriate. Third place.
I could see it. I still
It's
think
still a
second
good-
place should be higher.
I think, yeah, I think there's justification for second place being 50% of the prize money.
I agree.
Exactly.
I
That's
totally
what
agree.
I'd
Totally
say. I'd
agree.
say. Yeah, exactly. I'd say if it's 300, it should be 150. I thought that 5 times when I took second, it was 250-50. I'm like, really?
That's rough.
5 times less? I'm like, I know,
Yeah.
5 times less. I'm like, damn. Okay.
Yeah, I think the whole paying out so deep and at such a gradual slope, I think there should be more emphasis put on like, okay, everyone gets their flights and hotel paid for. Like if you're going to the games, I think there's a good justification for that. But then like paying out like 10th through 20, I don't know. I don't think you should be paying to play. I think that's very important because, like,
Right.
especially people
Yeah.
coming from like Australia, people that are flying in from overseas, and then even just people that are coming in. Like, you need to get to the games, say, a week ahead of time. Well, that's a week of hotel. Then you probably have your significant other. You probably have your coach, and then if you're bringing a bodywork person, if you're doing that, like the games gets to be very, very expensive quickly if you're trying to take it seriously. And so, I mean, having some assistance to pay for the hotel or something like that, I think that's a
Well,
big.
isn't that? But so you're saying you'd rather give them money to get there rather than give them money if they just got in the top 20? I think that okay. Your price. I think that they should. I think they should pay down the line. I don't think it should be a huge amount by any means. But man, like if you want to see people still strive to get there and actually like give runs, right? You have to pay out a little bit. Look at golf, right? You have 150 guys on tour, and if you make the cut, which is typically about 50 guys, something like that, or maybe more, they pay out all the way to the like once you make that cut. And so if you don't make the cut, then you don't get any money. So I think top 20, if there's 40 people there, the top half should get paid something.
I think CrossFit's so far behind golf.
Oh, for sure. I'm not.
But
I'm
you
not
can't
serious.
even
Because the money,
Okay.
like I was watching golf the other day, and it's like they're all wearing hats, shirt, belt, pants, shoes, clubs, golf bag, and a watch.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
I heard on any given weekend, golf in the world makes more money than the entire season of football because of all the golf courses. Yeah, I heard the ecosystem of golf in one
Oh,
weekend
yeah,
is
because
larger
think
than
about
the
it, like-
entire NFL.
like like how many football fans are playing in a football recreational league?
Yeah.
Next
Zero.
to zero, like if
Right.
any. But then every person watching golf probably has a set of golf clubs. They're all trying to shave a couple reps off their score, whatever it is. And
It's not reps.
I think
It's not reps.
strokes, reps, call it whatever the
It's
fuck you
reps,
want.
Josh. It's reps, Josh. Matt, that works.
They're not doing.
Josh.
They're not doing thrusters on the green, brother. I'm telling you that.
The whole goal of playing golf is to play less golf. Like, that's absurd.
Exactly. It's the best.
Wow.
It's the best. How is it
Wow.
absurd? It's the best.
But
It's a
think about
gentleman's
this,
game, Matt.
Savan, we had.
Maybe you're not a gentleman.
That's debatable. But like CrossFit had other sponsors starting to come in, like what's the term? Non-endemic brands. And then one of Savan's buddies nixed all the deals. Like there was a watch sponsor coming in, there was a steak sponsor, there was a like car sponsors, and then they all got the rug pulled out from under them just abruptly. Like CrossFit has potential to track that way if people can see the bigger picture.
Everything Matt just said is 100% true. Not only were the non-endemic brands nixed, but the current sponsors who were trying to pour in a shit ton of money more than the previous years were told to go fuck themselves.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And
I think
it's pretty much was like that. It was a hostile, like, get out of here. It was like giving them the Heisman. It wasn't pleasant.
Yeah,
Wasn't-
I was
wasn't
supposed
cool
to.
be
I was
around.
supposed to
No one
work
should be
with.
treated like that.
I was supposed to work with a couple of the brands, and then like I had contracts on the table. I was super excited because like awesome things, and then just like radio silence, and like you're calling or email like, hey, like, is this thing still good to sign? And then you hear back from them like months later or a year later, and you get the full story, and you're like, oh, awesome. Thanks, guys.
Well, I mean,
not
look
from the
look at
sponsor,
way,
but yeah.
let me look at the way they treated Nike. You know, it was the same way, right? So
Easy.
So I get a contract, or
Easy.
I start talking to Nike back in whenever it was, like forever ago, and
15?
I start might even been 14.
14? Yeah, like you had the blackout.
Yeah, is that, it was
the
yeah, it was
blackout,
14,
no
yeah.
logos. Yep.
Yep. Yeah. And so, you know, I start talking to them. I start reaching out to people and asking them, hey, is this going to be okay? Or, you know, am I going to get my, you know, am I going to get
Make sure to ask permission to make a living. Yep.
right.
Kiss
and,
the ring.
I get told,
You guys are pissing me off. You guys.
and
are
I get told, hey, you're good to go. Do it, and you know, get after it. And I do it, and then look what happens. Boom! You're like, nah, dude. You need to chill out. You need to put on them OGs. Them OGs, get them OGs back. You're not an OG anymore. Oh, okay. So, I mean, it just makes sense, right? It just makes sense.
Matt, you
But
got
Josh, I'm
you
sure
got
you
plenty
know-
of hand jobs, Josh. You got plenty of
Josh,
hand
I'm
jobs
sure
from HQ.
you
You better watch
know-
yourself, boy.
Josh, you probably know the full story of like behind the Nike thing.
Yeah.
Of
I
like
do.
the original one. And
Uh-huh.
dude, I did the exact same thing. I called and asked permission like a
Yeah.
bitch. And it was the most like
Yeah.
looking back now, I just shake my head at like, you young naive child.
I know, man. I know. It was terrible. And then, you know, you start hearing things, and you're like, come on. But it's all
I
right.
know-
It is what
I
it
kn-
is. And now,
I
and
know-
now look who's the sponsor. They're gone. Reebok's not even there.
Dude,
oh
CrossFit
my god.
sued Reebok. Like what?
It's so funny.
What a good dude. We love you guys. Oh, you didn't spend enough on marketing? We're suing you.
We were not a good
Who's in your pocket?
You got a mouse
CrossFit
there?
was not a good
To anyone?
we were not nice to Reebok. We were not nice to Reebok at all. It was inappropriate. No one deserved to be treated that way. That being said, let's talk about some media deals. There were media deals on the table before the games went sideways that were multi-million-dollar deals that were going to be grown by 300% and with no extra work on our part. And they were multi-year deals, and we pushed it away. And to this day, I have no idea why. I have no idea why. And I asked the source many a time, and none of it made sense. And it would have been a win-win for everyone. It would have been a win for affiliates. It would have been a win for games athletes. It would have been a win for humanity in spreading the word of curing the world's most vexing problem. And it's just idiocy, just poor leadership.
What I heard you have a new title.
But that being said, the company had a strong vision always.
So yeah, I agree. So Sevan, I heard you have a new title. What's your new title?
Oh no, buddy.
Yes, come on, do it. I want to hear about your new title. I heard you got a new job. So let me hear about it.
So when I just looked up right now, what do you cross? You're a bastard. I looked up on the internet CrossFit Games prize money, and then you know how Google gives you other stuff like that might interest you, and this it's in this order. I typed in CrossFit Games prize money, and in this order it gives me how much money did Matt Fraser win, how much money did Matt Fraser win in Dubai, how much money do CrossFit Masters make, how old is CrossFit Fraser, who won CrossFit 2020, and then it's pretty amazing. How much is Brooke Ensworth? Is Katrin David's daughter dating
What
Street
was
Horner?
what was my how much I've made from CrossFit?
How much money did Matt Fraser win? It says the prize money for the CrossFit Open is in the U.S.
Zero.
is $2,019 per
Zero.
round.
$0.
So I actually
Matt
got
Fraser
curious on
won.
this.
Go
I
ahead.
got curious on this and added up all my prize money from CrossFit, and I'm curious to see how accurate the internet is.
Oh,
Ooh,
there
are you gonna
is
tell
some-
us?
I can, yeah. I just want to see what the internet said first.
How much did Matt Fraser deadlift? There was one on here that I saw that says, "What is your net worth?" And it said
This should be fun.
2.5. It said 2.5 million. Uh,
How close is it? How close is it?
didn't
How
your mom
close is
teach
that?
you not to ask that, Josh? You're not supposed to ask people that. You're not
Hey,
supposed to
see,
ask who
he
they
brought
voted
it
for,
up.
how much they make.
He brought it up.
Oh man, that's
No,
like,
I was asking
that's
how
like-
much.
That's
how
like
much
a
my
Dan Bailey
CrossFit-
response, Josh.
I was
Yeah, it's
asking
prize
how
money.
much prize money I've won.
Yeah, it's prize money. Yeah.
No, that net worth is nowhere even close.
It's smaller or bigger?
What, my net worth or the number?
No, not worth. No, the prize money you've won. I'm not asking how much.
Have you won
I-
more than $2.5 million in prize
Yeah.
money is what Josh is asking, and I don't approve
No,
the question.
total prize money over my full career
This is
from
from
CrossFit. This is from
Gotcha.
games, open, and regionals.
Yeah.
So mostly just from the games was just over 1.8 million.
That wasn't terribly. I mean, what, 600,000 or 700,000 off? Not crazy.
No, but for my net worth, that's nowhere close to
Oh,
my
was
net
that
worth.
was that saying net worth or was that saying prize money?
The one I
Sevan.
saw was his net worth.
Oh, okay. I think I've read a net worth on me that was like $1 billion or something. And I'm dead serious.
And you're like,
I think I saw it online. And
It's
I
off
was like,
by
hey,
one
you're
digit,
off.
but yeah.
You're off a few billion.
No, that's Jeff Bridges.
I wish. Yeah, maybe it is Jeff Bridges. Maybe it was. Someone else told me that. I'm like, what? $1 billion? Yeah, I got that. It's not a big deal. Obviously.
Yeah. Josh Bridges has an estimated net worth of $42.5 billion.
Yes, 42 billion.
Holy
Can you
shit.
right? Someone told me I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, it's close, but like that's embarrassing. Why are you gonna put that out there? I want to show you my house and show you that I'm worth 42 billion.
And then it says, after 8 years as a Navy SEAL, he retired to spend more time with his young boys. He is now a professional CrossFit athlete with numerous sponsors. He only accepts sponsorship of products and programs he's passionate about. That's bullshit. There's a dollar amount.
Oh, get out of here.
Josh
not nice.
recently learned that his knee ligaments are once again torn, not one specific injury.
How do they get most
Yeah,
of that right except for the 42 billion dollars? Like, are you kidding me?
And then it says, who are the most famous Navy SEALs? And you don't make it in the top 8.
Good. I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
It's interesting.
Who's number one? Who's number one on the Navy SEALs list?
Some guy named Chris Kyle. I don't even know who that is.
Chris Kyle was my LPO. He was the American Sniper movie is about. Great guy.
Is that the movie where he gets shot at the end by that Marine?
No. Oh yes. Yes it is. Yes it is. Yeah. Yeah, he was at a range
like he's back
with
home.
a Marine. Yeah, he was at home. He'd gotten out of the Navy. He got out right after so he was on my first deployment in 2008. And yeah, Chris was a great guy. And then he ended up getting out and was working with some, I think, Marines with PTSD or something like that. And yeah, terrible scenario.
Dave is number 3.
Really?
No, he doesn't even make the top 10.
Yes. Another little slided day. Let's FaceTime him again.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
You might lose a friendship there. You only got a few friends anyways. I'm sure you don't want to lose it.
I was just telling my wife was asking, when I go to kids' events, I'm really standoffish. I don't really want to talk to anyone, because I go out a lot. Are you guys
crazy.
standoffish?
I don't really go
I
out.
talk to people. He doesn't have kids.
I heard a little Canadian just now in Matt. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did too. Out.
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 So, I don't like making eye contact with the other parents. I don't want to, invade on their space. It's not that I don't want to talk to them. It's just that, I'm watching my kids, and I'm just, I say hi to all the kids. You know what I mean? I'm nice to the kids. I say hi to them.
It's kind of creepy.
No. You got to be cool to the kids.
Little bit.
No, you got to treat the kids the way you want the other parents.
Little bit.
You got to treat the kids the way you want the
I always
other
find
parents to
when
treat
I'm
your
in
kids.
a big setting like that with a lot of other people, I always assume that I always think I don't want to bother other people because I just assume no one wants to talk to me. So I just kind of stay quiet, keep to myself. And then I think a lot of people take that as I have no interest in talking to other people, but that's not true. I just don't want to be a nuisance. And Like if I don't want to be the story that someone tells of like, oh, I got stuck talking to this guy.
I always say thank you to the coach after every event, and I have my kids say thank you after every practice.
That's good.
Oh, that's great. That's really nice of you.
Yeah.
Good talk. Good
Yeah.
talk. I'm glad you put that out there. People need to know that.
Hey, your expertise is thrusters and brewing coffee, and mine is parenting.
False. I would not say you're an expert at anything. So you don't say hi to any of the people. So you only like to talk to people through Instagram? Is that what you're telling me?
I enjoy talking to people through Instagram, but like when I
Instagram.
go to a lot of kids events. Oh, and the stores I go to, like the cashiers.
So you're kind of like a millennial, right? You only talk to people through online, and you don't talk to them face to face. That's cute. That's really good, Sevan.
It's not that I don't. It's just that when I go to these events, I just, like all the parents will usually sit on a bench or like if there's a place for the parents, and I usually don't go over there. Well,
you just have your head down looking in your phone? Scrolling?
No.
Is it also
no,
because you're old enough to be their parents? Am I wrong?
What you're saying is true, Matt. What Josh is saying is not true. Have you ever been told by coaches to shut the fuck up, Josh?
No.
To
Josh
stand
is
down?
the coach.
But there is definitely been moments where they should have told me to shut my mouth. Yeah, I can definitely be that parent. I have to like hold back a lot. I'll be like, just shut up. Don't say anything. You're fine. You can have, let the coaches do their job. Don't be an idiot. I mean, I've had some. I was my kid's wrestling coach, and I've had some instances where like, man, Little League wrestling is rough, dude. Some of the parents.
Your wrestling stories are fantastic,
dude. I mean, there was this kid and they was wrestling. This was not my kid, but I was helping coach, and so. He starts yelling that the kid is our kid is biting him, and he comes up to me after the match and he's like, "Hey, your kid was biting our kid." And I was like, "If our kid was biting your kid, I would have ripped him off the mat and like had a nice stern talking to him and said no." He's like, "No, he was biting him," and I'm like, "You're now telling me that I'm a terrible person because I was allowing our kid to bite your kid." So if we started getting into each other's faces. It was pretty good. Ended up like another coach kind of stepped in, was like, "Hey, you guys need to chill out." But I was like, man, you're sitting there telling me I'm this like terrible coach, allowing our wrestler to bite your kid. Like, get out of my face, bro, before I like slap you around. Oh man, it gets intense in the wrestling room. I'm not gonna lie.
So you were like, "Hey man, knock it off."
Exactly.
Slap you around.
No, it's a wrestling room. They're all about our size. So nobody's that big typically in the wrestling room.
Josh, did you pull the kid aside afterwards and second guess yourself? Were you like, "Hey man, did you bite the kid?" No.
No, because I was watching the match and he wasn't biting him. The kid was losing. The other kid was losing, and so he was trying to find a way out of it. Right? He was like, "How can I get out of this? I don't like getting my butt kicked anymore." He was biting me. And I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, I could see it clear as day. Like there was like his mouth wasn't even near his body. So it was really weird. It was strange.
Do wrestlers wear mouthpieces?
Nowadays, the college kids do. I never had a mouthpiece, and none of our little leaguers wear them. So yeah.
I've been told twice at tennis by the coach and once at jiu-jitsu.
What were you screaming? Were you screaming at the coach, at the kid?
No, at the kid.
Yeah, at your
kid?
At my kid, yeah. Just like, "Hey, dude, keep your fucking head up, pay attention." And then the coach comes over and goes, "Hey, you need to be quiet." And then after class, I walk over to the coach, the tennis coach, and he's serious as a heart attack. And I'm like, "Hey, do I got to pay you extra for that, like parenting coaching too?" And he just kind of like laughed. And then one time in jiu-jitsu, one of the other parents and myself, our kids were sparring each other, and we were both yelling at our kids to do stuff. And I don't know if you guys know who Garth Taylor is, but Garth Taylor was on the mat. He was a former Brazilian he's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, and he was, I think, the first American to win the heavyweight title in Brazil. He's huge. And he like barked at us like, "Hey, And the other guy who was yelling at his kid too is a big dude, like 750-pound back squat. And yeah, I'm as big as one of these guys' thighs. And
Right.
Garth just barked at us, and we both just kind of like, you could hear both of us whimper, like, like, oh shit. Hey guys, keep it down. We're like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I don't. There was this one time also, my kid was wrestling, and in Little League wrestling, you get really bad referees, right? And referees can really ruin the match. They can ruin the match, right? And so my kid ended up like.
You sound like a sore loser.
No. But he can. They can ruin the match, and it's not a sore loser thing. It's just that there are really bad referees out there. And so this one match, my kid gets pinned, and it wasn't. And so a pin is if both of your shoulder blades are pinned to the mat for like a second. That's a pin in wrestling. Mm-hmm. And so my kid's shoulder blades weren't even anywhere near the mat. Like his lower back was on the mat, but his shoulder blades weren't anywhere near it. And I'm like losing my mind. I'm like, what are you talking about? Why did you just slap them? Because like the referee will slap the mat, and that'll be a pin, right? They'll call the pin. And I'm like so confused and so blown away. Like, what's going on? So I politely, obviously, walk over to the referee after the match, and it's not like it's a big deal, right? I don't really care. It's Little League wrestling. This isn't for world championships. But what I wanted to get I wanted to get I wanted to understand what he was saying, what he saw. And so I'm like, hey man, like, what happened out there? Why did you call that pin? He's like, because it was a pin. And I go, well, can you show me what a pin is, or tell me what a pin is? And he goes, like, if any portion of your back is touching the mat, that's a pin. This is a referee that is refereeing Little League wrestling matches that isn't going to determine world championships, but it is going to determine how these kids feel about themselves, right? If they're confident or not, right? And sometimes these little guys need confidence. So when they lose and they don't understand, basically, that the rules,
I thought I was doing the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. And so I go over and I go, show me on my back what constitute a pin. Like, show me what has to be on the mat to constitute a pin. He literally touched the top of my shoulder and my lower back. He goes, if any part of this is on the mat, it's a pin. And I was like, my mind exploded, and I go, I can't even talk to you anymore. I walked away, and I had to go like find the guy that was running the tournament. And I go, hey man, that referee over there just told me a pin is from here to here on your back. If any portion of your back is touching the mat, it's a pin. I'm like, you need to remove this guy from the tournament before he ruins any other little kids, man. And it was just like the guy, like, he gave me like a nod or whatever, but that referee was at every tournament afterwards too, and I was just like, oh my god, I couldn't even go to the mats if he was reffing our kids. I was just like, I'm gonna knock this guy out. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's one thing to have like, all right, like, it's your shoulder blades have to be on the ground, and like, he saw from a different angle. He thought he saw something from a different angle, but when he's like, nope, lower back counts too, it's like, no, that's not the rule. What are you doing? How did you get here?
Right, that's what I was wondering too. I'm like, he was being paid from like these referees get money for the day. I'm like, dude, this guy is making money doing this, and he doesn't even know the rules. Like, how is this even legal? Like, what is happening?
There's been times I remember one competitor telling me, like, during the chipper with like 100 pull-ups, 80 GHDs, whatever it was. That his referee was making him touch his toes, and he was coming up and touching the big roller thing that you're supposed to touch, and the ref was like, no, you gotta touch your toes. And it's like, how are you here? Like, right, there's been many briefings, like, not a single other ref, like, look down the line, buddy. And it's just sometimes they slip through the cracks, and it's like, yep, sure do. Awesome.
You're lucky you have refs. At tennis tournaments, they don't even have refs. The kids ref each other. And because my kids are so amazing, they're always the youngest kids in their, division, and they play with older kids. That's cool. Thank you. And the other day, Avi was playing tennis against this girl who was like 9 years old in a tennis tournament, and every time he would score, she would take the point. And he's 6, so he would just let it roll, right? Yeah. So he's winning 3-0, but they're saying the score, she's winning 3-0. And I think she knew that it was happening that way, but I don't know for sure. But so then, I'm the sideline judge, and the sideline judge, like, there's no judges. All you do is make sure that the kids have balls. You're not allowed to say anything. If it's an out and the kid calls in, you're not allowed to say anything. As the parent, you have to stay quiet. It's just them reffing each other. That's the way kids tennis tournaments are.
Okay.
So. And the person, whoever, like, if the ball comes to your side, you're the line judge. So you're always judging your opponent, right? And your opponent is judging you.
Yeah.
So finally, Avi hits one, and I'm pretty sure it hit the line. And the girl's mom from the peanut gallery yells, "No, that was out." And Avi goes, "No, that was in." And the mom goes, "That was out." And I wanted to go over there and throat punch her, like, yo. Are you fucking kidding me? Your kid's winning 3-0 and you haven't said a fucking thing, and now you're piping in from the peanut gallery about an in-out call. And tennis is really trippy about the lines, right? I mean, it's really hard to tell if a ball's in or out. Yeah. But yeah, it's intense.
And so, was it 3-0 in games or 3-0 in the score of the game?
In that game, because
I don't think that's the correct. I don't think that's the correct scoring system. Just so you know.
I know, but that's the way they do it at 6 and 9. They don't do love and
15, 30.
15, 30, 40, 45.
Yeah.
And when I say tennis tournament, I'm exaggerating a little bit. It's a tennis tournament within his clinic. It's like only the people who go to that school, that tennis school, are in it. It's not open. It's like a practice tournament.
Yeah, I'm definitely not looking forward to that, of like dealing with parents that like never really had success in sports themselves and like trying to live through their children. I'm not really looking forward to
They're the loudest ones, yeah.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I remember like everything with sports with my parents growing up, they were just kind of like, yeah, go have fun, try hard, like do your best.
Right.
But then after that, like that was the end of it, you know? Like there was never anything. And like I remember as a child seeing how some of the other parents would like yell on the sidelines, and I was like as a kid, I'm like, yo, this is 4th grade soccer. What are you doing? Like
World Championships are on the line here, bro. You know what I mean?
Scouts are here.
I had this. Yeah, come on, bro. I had this dad in wrestling, and he wasn't on our in our club, but we were outside, and I was with my boys, like we were just like in between matches or something. And this dad comes over, and this kid is 5 years old. 5 or 6, maybe 6, probably 5. And he is screaming at his kid because he was crying after he lost. In Little League Wrestling, it's very easy to tell who's winning and losing. The winning kid is not crying, and the losing kid is crying. And so he's crying because he lost, and his dad's like, "Hey, listen, little kid," or like whatever his name was, "if you keep crying, I'm going to put a diaper on you." And I was like, I wanted to go over there and just knock this dude out. I was like, you are ruining your child. First of all, he is never, like, he's not going to make it 2 more years in this sport. And you're taking it he's 5 years old, bro. Like, he just learned to walk like 3 years ago. Like, and like, you are a lunatic. Oh man. Like, there are some parents that they talk to their kids just like, dude, I also saw like a 10-year-old dad, or a 10-year-old, and his dad was calling him a pussy. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that in public. You shouldn't do that in public. That should be on the car ride home.
I've only witnessed it. I've only witnessed something like that one time, and
Bro.
I was at the track with another competitor, and there's this father and son also at the track, and this dad was like just the typical like volleyball gut, just a loser. And, you know, like the type of guy like, oh, if coach put me in 4th quarter, we would go on state. And it's like, all right, you know, cool it, buddy. And this kid is running laps and like intervals, like going hard. This kid is maybe like 6 years old, 8 years old, like young. And you know, we're watching and, you know, we're kind of like, okay, kind of seems out of place. Like, you should not be doing training like this. But maybe it was the kid's idea. Maybe he wants to be doing it. And so as they're wrapping up practice, and the father's just like yelling at the kid the whole time, as they're leaving, our workout's done. We're sitting like in the end zone type thing. And we're like, hey, bud, like, how'd your workout go? And we're asking him like, hey, like, how'd your workout go? And the dad was like, like C effort today. You know, he didn't give it his, and I'm like, excuse me? Like, this is a child, and you're having him run intervals, just like
Right.
just
Why
abusive.
you running intervals?
And like, I don't care what you're built like, don't care. But like, when you're ripping on this child for not giving, he's a kid. He should be playing tag. I don't know. And we, like, he's ripping on his kid's performance to us, strangers, and we finally like, hey, like, make sure you're having fun, kid. Like, we're trying to encourage him. Like, man, looked like you were working hard. You know, make sure you're having fun. And he's just kind of like nodding his head and like head down. And it was just like, oh my God, you poor kid. But
Super pet peeve of mine when you ask a child a question and an adult answers.
yeah,
Like, hey, shut the fuck up. I asked the kid. I'm trying to have an adult conversation with your kid and give your kid an opportunity and build them up and have respect. It's even with parenting. You know what I mean? Like, you'll ask your kid, hey, have you brushed your teeth? And your wife might say, yeah, they just did. It's like, hey, man, like, I'm communicating with the kid. It's never about getting the answer. It's about communicating with your child. It's nuts when people interfere when you're talking to a kid. Like, you know, like you're having a building up moment for the kid and they take it from the kid.
Yeah, I do love that I'm also giving parenting advice, and I have no children. I think that's a big clarification we need to put out there right now.
Well, I wouldn't say you're giving parenting advice. You're just noticing awful parenting.
Yes,
and that's a pretty common.
I'm not a helicopter pilot, but if I see a helicopter sitting in a tree, I'd be like, I think that guy messed up.
I don't think he's good at what he does.
Josh, what do you do when your kid cries? How do you respond? So let's say you're at a boxing class and one of your kids starts crying. What do you do?
It's hard, you know. It's a hard struggle. It's not something that I'm perfect at, and I don't know the exact answer. I typically will try to tell him, hey, whatever it is that is causing him to cry, you know, like it's not a big deal. You know, I try to tell him like, hey, like, oh well, you struck out. Like my kid, he definitely beats himself up with. We just started playing golf and with baseball a lot. He'll beat himself up and he'll get really worked up and he'll cry. And I'll be like, man, we're out here having fun. I'm like, don't you see Dad hitting bad shots playing golf too? Like, I'm not crying. Like, it's okay to have emotion, but you have to be able to control it in certain situations. This isn't something that's worth crying over. And then I'll also let him do it sometimes too. I'll just leave him alone and give him his own time to work it through in his own head. It all depends on the moment and like what I think is necessary. If he needs me to kind of help him out and talk him through it, I'll go over and try to help him out. And if I think he needs to work through it himself, I'll let him do that himself and figure it out.
I think that is a bit of a good sign of like, if a kid's just doing a terrible job at something and has no care, it's like, all right, well, he has no interest in getting better at this. But it's like,
right.
Yeah, you hope they care a little bit of like, I want to be better, but not to the point of like they're ruining their day or ruining themselves.
Exactly. Right. That's what I kind of try to tell them. Like, listen, man, like this is a game. This is a game, and if you love it, I exactly, you know, like what you just said. If you're obviously you care that you're upset at, you're not good at it, or you're struggling right now. So, I'm like, we just have to practice more. We can't let this beat us. We just have to practice more and try to figure it out, and you'll get better. It'll just take time. But and then sometimes I just let them cry it out. You know, sometimes that's what a kid needs.
When my kids crash at the skateboard park, I'll usually like stand up from where I'm sitting and look at them. And then if I make eye contact with them and whether they're crying or not, I kind of like assess whether I need to go over there. But like, and that's just injury, right?
Yeah.
But when I've been at jiu-jitsu where they start crying, and I'll usually just come up to the edge of the mat and put my knees on the mat and give them a hug, and they'll start saying that they want to go home or they want to get off the mat, and I just don't acknowledge any of that. I just keep hugging them. I just hold them, and then like a fly that flies from one pile of shit to another, like you give it 2 minutes and their mind changes, right?
Oh,
and then they just run out there. I just give them a hug. I'm there for them, and then I just let them run back and get back in the mix. And I'd say it works 99% of the time. You don't have to say shit. They just need Dad to hold them for a minute or just to acknowledge them, and then. But it is hard when you see them crying.
It is. It's tough, man, because you want to fix
it's hard.
it.
Yeah,
you want to fix
totally.
it. You do, and it's not always fixable. It's right. Exactly. You have to learn to let them be able to heal themselves, right? To be able to like work through their own emotions and get through it. And it's a tough challenge, man. I'm not perfect at it. I definitely struggle. You don't get a manual when you become a parent, and that's what sucks, right? You don't get fucking directions. So
At the CrossFit Games one year, it was in the final event. God, I can't believe this is coming back to me. I don't remember the event. You guys entered from the top of the stadium in Carson.
that was the pegboard thruster one.
And I just remember I was like, this thought came in my mind, tell Josh not to be a cunt. Do you remember that?
Did you say it to me?
Yeah. And as I said it to him, like, oh my God, I can't believe that came out of my mouth. I think you shit the bed. I think you shit the bed too, and I felt bad afterwards that I said it. Like if you would have won, I would have been like, "Holy shit, I'm the man. I should be pep talking everyone." But you lost.
I did shit the bed. It was the thruster pegboard one. I wasn't even in the final heat that year. I was already pretty down on myself because I felt like 16. I came in feeling really good, and in that weekend something went wrong. Basically from like day 2 or 3, like every event I'd leave and I'd be like, God, I'm like, what the fuck happened right there? Like that was like, I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird year. I started off doing okay. We had that trail run that Matt kicked my ass in, but I still took second, so I was happy. And then, after that whole weekend, that every event, I remember just leaving, like double DT. I remember doing it in my garage, like 3 minutes faster the year before. And I'm like, I'm in really good shape right now. What the hell is happening? So,
see that year with double DT, I did it. I did double DT like a couple weeks before the games, but we doubled the rep, so it was still 5 rounds, but it was like 24 deadlifts with 18 power cleans, 12 shoulder overhead, and I remember texting my time to Bergeron of like, hey, did it? Here's my time, and he was like, oh, you must have done 6 rounds, and I was like. What do you mean? And say my time was like 13 minutes in training. He was like, Cole was 10 minutes. And I was like, uh-oh. And I know for a fact, I only did 5 rounds. But yeah. So when I saw double DT come up, like in the competition, I was like, oh no, this is not good.
Yeah. Man, that year was just weird. I was like, every time I was on the floor, even in the moments where I was like, I should do well at this workout, like double DT, like the wheels were just kept falling off, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And so
but your range of motion is nice and short, so you should go super fast.
Exactly, right? That's what I was thinking too.
Dude, I can be a CrossFit commentator. I got that line.
You're basically crushing it right now.
This guy's old, this guy's young, this one's tall, this one's short. Boom.
There you go. Game over. Pay that man his money.
Matt, have you seen Troy yet? Did you watch Troy?
No, I'm never going to.
What? Why?
Don't waste your time.
Wait, why?
It's so low on the priority list.
But you said last week. I asked you if we were talking about it, and you said you watched Gladiator the night before, and but
that's when I'm just
comrade of yours.
That's like when
telling you
Sammy
that Troy
goes,
is better.
That's when Sammy goes to bed at a reasonable hour, and then I'm like a toddler, an unsupervised child that's like, ooh, I get to stay up as late as I want, and then I just watch shows and movies that I already know every line to, and I'm just rotting my brain watching TV until about 1 a.m.
And you don't have cable, huh?
No.
I don't have cable either. I bet you Josh has cable.
I barely have internet.
Why would you say? Why do you think that?
Because you're more domesticated. You're Matt's Canadian. I'm dirt twirler.
I have cable.
You wear matching socks and shit like that.
Oh, bro, get out of here! What are you saying? Like I'm some? What? Like, tell me what you're saying.
I'm just saying you're domesticated. You're a little. You know what I mean? Like it's important to you. You know who won the Heisman the last 5 years in a row.
I mean, don't take it out on Josh just because he and I both like having nice things. Okay.
Yeah, bro.
Fine leather furniture and good coffee makers.
Exactly. You have sunglasses that cost as much as my espresso machine. So
this is true. This is true.
Matt was having trouble on his last episode of Meeting the Frasers with his coffee machine. A lot of people a lot of people were DMing me being like, "Hey, Matt can't even make a cup of coffee with all that fancy shit he's got."
No, that's just new beans.
Oh, that is hard, man. I've definitely gone through like half a bag of coffee
Yeah.
trying to figure out that thing.
Yeah,
It's
like
ridiculous.
if to anyone that's never used an espresso machine, it's like you just put the beans in, push the button. It's like no, you have to like
Yeah.
tune it in
Like some-
for specific beans. And so the beans that I was using were super oily, and they were a darker roast. So then, like, no, reverse. They were super dry, and so you need to crank the grinder super super fine. And then the ones that I put in later had more oil in them, and so I like.
Oh, so then you had to,
I opened up the grinder a little bit, and by the third shot, I was getting a great shot.
yeah. So
But yeah, Bo
tell
turned
your
off the
DM
camera.
buddies.
Yeah, Bo turned off the camera when the shot was good.
Yeah, tell your DM buddies, Sevan, to shut their mouth.
Those are my only buddies. I
Dude.
can't remember which one of you was at my house, but I made you guys a cup of coffee and you guys wouldn't drink it. I think it was
Me.
you, Josh.
Yeah, that was definitely Josh.
Yeah.
I
drink
will
that
usually
garbage.
scarf down like I'm like, all right, this is terrible, but I want the coffee. I just want the caffeine. Josh will
Nope.
be like, nope, no bueno.
Nope. I don't need it. I don't need that in my life. You know what I mean? I'd rather go no caffeine than crappy caffeine.
Sevan, how much of an influence on your day do opinions on social media have?
Honestly, I don't know because I don't get really any negative. I get so little negative, and negative is usually what.
Really?
How I know it's crazy,
With
right?
how many DMs you get, there's no negatives?
Usually the negative comments will be in the comments, and they're usually ad hominem or they don't make sense. Usually it's like it's a character attack. So I'll be like the Wilson tennis ball bounces higher than the Penn tennis ball, and people will be like, "You're a fucking idiot. You don't even know what you're talking about." And so, like, maybe at the most it'll influence me. I'll go to the website. I'll pull out a Wilson tennis ball and a Penn tennis ball, and I'll bounce them, and I'll see I was right. And then I'll go look at some studies on the internet. And I mean, that would be the most it would influence me. Recently, some chick was just attacking me on my Instagram, and when I went to respond to her, it said that she's restricted my responses. So at that, and it didn't say block; it said restricted. So I blocked her, and then like 3 brand new accounts show up, and they're just trolling me. You fucking asshole! You coward! Someone disagreed with you, so you blocked them, and I gently responded. I said no. It said my response was restricted. But other than that, it's pretty mellow. I really just like going through the YouTube comments and finding stuff that I control you and Josh with. I really am running with this theme that Josh's coffee is delivered by donkey. I really just like
It
that.
is.
I've gotten a few DMs from people in Panama saying that's not true.
It's not true.
But why do you get very many negative comments?
Me? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Like, but
granted.
What can they say about you, though?
it
What can they say?
probably Isn't nearly as many as I think. It's just like I can have 1,000 nice ones and then one negative one, and I'll stew on it because I'm like, all right, well, that's not true, or whatever it is. It's like I like to set the record straight. I don't like to have people have a false representation of me or whatever it is. Dude, it's to the point that it's like no matter what you post, people will find something negative to say about it. No matter, I have had some ones that it's like a picture of Sammy and I on a dock, like holding hands, of like enjoying our time on
You
vacation,
son
and
of a bitch.
people will find something to say. I had one recently, a DM, and this girl was ripping me apart. I had a whole response typed up of just like basically me telling her like where to stick it. And then I was like, why am I wasting my time with this? Like, out of all the positive feedback I got from this, I'm focused on the one negative one. Why am I even giving this 5 seconds of thought? And it was her like telling me about like that I'm not a real alcoholic, or like that, anyone that's a real alcoholic wouldn't be doing this.
Shit.
And I was like,
Shit.
and I almost responded, I'm thinking of, I'm having the argument in my own head. I'm doing nothing but wasting time and being unproductive. And I almost responded just like with the serenity prayer of like,
Oh, I like it. I like
here
it.
you go. If you're a real alcoholic, you should understand this, but yeah, it was just like, that one stuck with me for a little bit because I was like, who do you think you are? Like, and there's so many things too. Like, I remember I put up a post about my back surgery and just like meant it as I get hit up all the time. Like, hey, I'm injured. How do I come back from this?
I saw that post. It was a good post. It was a great post.
And it was basically like, hey, like in the moment, it seems like it's going to take forever to recover. You're never going to come back from this. You don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm like, this is me 10 years ago. And this is where I'm at now. And like, you'll get through this, take the proper steps, give it time. You'll get through this. And I got some messages on that one that were just jaw dropping, because it all depends on the perspective of the person looking at it. Of if someone's in the trenches and they see it, I meant it as encouragement. A lot of people received it as encouragement, all this. And then the rare few that are just looking at it from a different lens, and they're like, you piece of shit. Like, how dare you? Like, you didn't have a real back injury. And I was like, yeah, you're right. The 2 plates and the 6 bolts in my back. Yeah. I was butt hurt. Like, that was the line that he's like, I'm sorry.
How dare you?
He was like, I'm sorry you got butt hurt. And like, this isn't a real injury. Like, you're looking for pats. I was like, nope, that's not. Like, the hardware in my back, I don't think it was that I was butt hurt, but I'm sorry you took it that way. Went back and forth with them. And then I was like, once again, why am I wasting my time debating this with someone else? And just left it. And yeah, the rare time you'll get hit up down the road and the person's like, hey, my apologies, like that guy actually wrote me a handwritten letter and was like, I was going through a nasty split up. I was drinking a lot, like the whole spiel. And I was like, wow, thank you for taking the time to write a letter. We've all said things that we look back on later and been like, wow, that was dumb. So I mean, props to him for, making amends to it. But no matter what you post, there's going to be someone that finds the negative in it and just wants to make themselves feel better by trying to tear you down.
Or like,
Go ahead.
I'll post stuff about a lot of stuff about how bad sugar is, and people will attack me, and I'm always thinking like, well, even if I'm wrong, I'm not saying anything that hurts society. Why don't you put
Right.
that? Why don't you put that energy and go to like a pro heroin use site or an opioid site or something, and spend that energy there? Like, why are you coming after me? Like, what I'm doing is so benign. You have terrorists in your front yard, and you're yelling at me by the stroke I'm using to clean up ants in my bathroom. It's like, whoa, easy, man. I'm just chilling.
Yeah.
I know that wasn't good.
No, but yeah,
People are out of their mind.
Blowing out your candle will make mine shine brighter. And it's nice too, of like when someone is like doing well or someone has a position of authority over you, if you point out their flaws, it's, I don't know, it feels good.
It's the whole must be nice, right? That whole, I hate the term must be nice. Like someone, like everyone that's in a position that is better than yours, it must be nice. They were obviously given that position, and they didn't earn it. They didn't work for it. It just must be nice. I wish, like, why didn't somebody do that for me? Kind of thing. And I hate that term. It's like my least favorite term in the world.
You kidding me? I love it. I
must
love it.
be nice.
Anytime someone says that to me, I'm like, good. You're one less
Yeah.
person that I ever have to worry about as competition.
Well, right, no, that's easy. It's just like, but for me, because I get it a lot on Instagram, and it's not always in the exact terms of must be nice, but it's like, oh, look at this guy, he was obviously given this, and I'm like, yeah, keep that perspective. That's gonna get you far in life.
Yeah,
just keep waiting for someone to give you something.
I was $40,000 or $60,000 in debt making this movie Pulling John. I was filming one of the arm wrestlers, and he went to an event where you sit for 3 hours and the guy tells you how to get rich, and then if you like what he said, you buy his DVD set. So I'm just sitting in there, and I don't believe in God, but he said that one of the things that just caught my attention is I'm just sitting there. It was in New York City, and it was a jam-packed house, like 1,000 people, standing room only. And one of the things he said was, God will give you everything you want, and if you resent people, he'll make sure you never get what they have. And so if you resent rich people, or you resent the guy with the Lamborghini, or God will make sure, okay, I'll keep you away from all of that. And that, for me, was a hugely profound moment. And from that day on, I started the practice of every time I see a penny on the ground or money, no matter if it's like how humiliating it might be, I'll walk over and I'll pick it up and I'll say to myself, because he said something about affirmations too. I say to myself, you are a money magnet. And anytime I see someone who has something really nice, even if I have to fake it, I try to appreciate it, and I try to be happy for them, no matter what. And from that day to my current day that I speak to you, I've only gotten significantly more money. And I don't know how it works because I don't believe in God, but maybe that's the sign from God I should start believing. But resenting people will keep you away from, and attacking people who are on the top will keep you from getting to the top. And I'd be curious if you guys agree with that.
Well, yeah, it's a perspective, right? It's if you're resentful, like you're thinking that person was given something and they didn't earn it, they were just given it, and they just got lucky. That's why they're where they're at, right? They don't take into account the hard work or the sacrifice or the dedication or whatever it is that got them to where they're at. And maybe they did get given it. I don't know, but who cares exactly? It's not my business. If maybe then maybe the dad or the uncle or whoever gave them whatever they got, they probably had to work for it. There was always somewhere where someone had to work for it at some place in time. So for me, like,
I don't know any rich people who were given shit, by the way. All the rich people I know, like, they're workaholics.
Yeah. For the most part.
Yeah. I'm not saying that there aren't trust fund babies
Matt
out there.
Didn't work.
But
Matt got given it, but other than that,
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Matt just stayed in that room in his parents' basement.
Yeah. And
people started handing him bicep curls.
He started giving him gold medals. It's weird.
Hey, you lived in your mom's basement long enough. You want a house?
Nike came out of the woodworks and they saw Matt living in his mom's basement and they felt sorry for him.
With
and gave him a fat contract.
With his roommates. Hey, I live with my roommates.
If you want a Nike contract, move into your parents' basement now. After 5 years.
They'll give you 5 gold medals.
I loved it. Like, I remember, like, people made fun of me for living there. And, like, I lived there long past when I had to. But it was just convenient. If, like, I don't have to lock up the house or worry about anything getting stolen or breaking or bringing mail in. Yeah, that was fun.
Sevan actually asked me a question. It was in that 16 games. I can't remember what event it was. But you were over in the back and you were like, I think you might have been throwing up or something. You looked weird. Like you were doing something weird in the back. And Savan's like, what do you think Matt's thinking about right now? I was like, he's probably thinking about why he still lives with his parents or something like that. There was a video of it. I was like, I chuckled at it the other day. It was pretty good. I was like, man, sometimes I'm wittier than I think.
Yeah, I remember like people making fun of me for that, and I would, like, if they text me, I remember it was like one of the Road to the Games videos where Marson and Heber just outed me, and like the Fraser residence or something, and they were like,
what did I miss?
No, we're talking about me living with my parents way longer than I had to. And
I just heard outed.
And I started getting messages of like, bro, you still live with your parents? Like, what are you doing? I was like, yo, enjoy your mortgage. Every time you cut that check, I hope you puts a smile on your face because I'm living here rent free.
Right. Just growing that savings.
And then even when I moved to Tennessee and bought my own house, Sam and I still went back 2 years and like lived in my parents' basement during the summer.
Hey, another perfect example of hard work. Those two they're super talented. They're self-taught and they work their fucking ass off.
Yeah.
Heber and Marsden.
Crushing it.
And they didn't miss a beat when they got fired from CrossFit, and they should have never been fired from CrossFit. And man, those guys it's hard. When I worked with them, they were the hardest working guys in the biz, and they're still the hardest working guys in the biz. And let me tell you, they might make it look fun, but it's fucking work.
I'm with them a lot. Like, I see a lot of during the filming, behind the scenes, all that stuff. And I mean, like, when people see, like,
please don't throw that term around loosely, behind the scenes. There's only been one behind the scenes. Go on.
Oh, okay. No, someone got a little. You pushed a button there.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh, I see behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But like, when they're at a competition and then the day one summary is posted the next morning at 8 a.m. It's like, when do you think that got made? Like, that's not just like they film it and then upload it. It's like, there's hours. When they go to a 3-day competition, they don't sleep for 3 days. And I was with them in Spain one year. This is probably like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And there was like 8 of us in an Airbnb. It was right after I competed in London. I think there was 8 or 10 of us in one Airbnb. It was like 2 or 3 bedrooms. And we're all hanging out in the living room. And like slowly, one by one, people are going to bed. And it was like myself, Marston, Heber, we're all still up. And one of them's editing at a time. And like Marston would have the headphones on, computer on his lap, and would be editing. And then like you'd start seeing his eyes get droopy, his head start nodding. And then he would just completely go out. Heber would then like wake up, see Marston asleep, take the headphones off his head, put them on his, take the computer, and then he would start editing until he would go pass out. And like it just went back and forth all night. And it was hilarious because like they just had one computer going, and as soon as one would pass out, the other one would pick up the computer and start editing until he passed out. But yeah, that's
been
what
there.
they do.
Yep. I used to love those posts. I think it was Heber used to make posts of Marsden asleep, and for some reason, I love it.
Drop of a hat.
I love it when I love posts where people are making fun of people who are asleep. Like they're driving the car and turning, and the person's going like this, and it's like bobbing back and forth and shit. I love that shit. Go ahead, your turn to give Heber and Marston a handy. Go ahead, Josh. What do you got?
No, I think they're awesome. I worked with them a few times. I think they're great dudes.
You have your own team.
Yeah, they Marston would come over and I put him through some fun workouts. That was really fun.
They're both very like sneaky fit.
Yeah.
Like
I wouldn't say they're sneaky fit. What are you talking about? They're pretty yoked.
This is true.
The whole video.
Heber now, dude. Heber's getting big. Like Marston's always been the bigger one, and now it's like when you see Heber take his shirt off, you're like, hey, you used to be the skinny guy. What's going on here?
I see. They were on Dan's jock, and they didn't give you much love, Josh, and so that's why you have less to say.
On what?
What?
You think
Heber and Marsden were on
Yeah.
Dan's jock.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they swing from Dan's jock hard, and you didn't get the love.
No, I got the love. They did our road behind the road to the games that year with was when it was me and Brooke Ince. And I think
that was the biggest one in our history, by the way, of CrossFit. Yep,
it's not a big deal. NBD. I have nothing but love for her. Heaves and Mars. Like I don't have any issues with them. I thought they gave me an appropriate amount of love. You know, they weren't Sevan, who was always in my face. I mean, that's why I love you. That's why I love you the most.
If you were abusive to the cameraman, would have been great screen time.
Right.
Always.
Exactly.
So are there 7 good dudes now since you've added this new guy?
No, he's the last time we talked, he was already a part of it.
Okay, so there's 6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think there's
because there's a lot of posts and questions about good dudes
What about it?
Josh? Just like who's part of the brand? Is it Good Dudes? Is it Good Dude? Originally it had.
Josh, I like that hoodie. I just realized what that emblem was. It's a good looking logo.
Good Dudes Coffee.
Did you just text them and say change the subject, Matt?
Yeah, no, he just paid me $50. He was like, yo, comment on this logo.
Hey, get it. Come on. Free bag of coffee is in the works. Donkey's on his way. Eeyore. What are you going to say? Go ahead, Sevan. Go ahead. Finish your question. I know you want to talk about it. We can talk about it.
Okay, so what's the deal? Who? There was a comment saying that people didn't see Dan and Rich in this most recent commercial. I think I did see them in there. But
you did? Did you see them in there? That's interesting.
Are they a part of Good Dude still?
No, they're not. They're no longer a part of Good Dudes Coffee. We parted ways a while ago now, it seems like. They decided to go their own route. You know, they didn't want to. We had our discussion, and they just didn't want to be a part of Good Dudes anymore. So,
did they not like the coffee? Did they not like you? Did they not? Was it too much work for them?
I don't really know, to be honest. I don't think Dan is a big coffee drinker, anyways. So, I don't really know if he fit too well with it. And then, so we all just started to split ways. I don't really know the 100% the real reasons, right? They gave me the reasons, and we'll keep that in the, between us. And we're just not. They decided not to be a part of it anymore. So it's all right. Continue mission, right? Charlie Mike.
It's very adult of you. Very adult of you. Are you happy to be the sole owner now? And what advice do you have for people who are going to go into business with other people?
Am I happy? Of course. I love Good Dudes Coffee. I think that I love the brand. I love coffee. I love working on it. I love actually I'm not just sitting back and collecting checks with Good Dudes Coffee. I'm very involved in the whole process of every aspect of it. And I love it. I love every bit of it. And so, yes, I am very happy to be, the owner of Good Dudes Coffee. My advice would be the advice that I got from a lot of different people was don't go into business with friends. I got told by a lot of people, you shouldn't do this. This isn't a good idea. And it'll probably end how you don't want it to end. And they're all right. And so, don't go to business with your friends. It probably won't end well.
Are you going to open a brick and mortar?
Possibly at some point. Yeah, I mean that's the idea. I'd love to do that. I think that'd be really cool.
I'm surprised you haven't yet. I thought that would be priority one.
For me, it's I'm in the process of possibly moving out of San Diego and all these other things. So I don't know where I want to be. I'd want to be. I'd want to be by it, and so that's kind of I need to figure out where I'm going to be for a long time, so that when I do open it, it would be in that place.
Is it going to be hard to leave California?
No. I'm not going to sell my place either, so I'm not going to be 100% gone.
Are the three of us in business together?
No, we're just friends.
But I send you the weekly screenshots of the millions of dollars pouring into the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I don't think that's enough to. I don't think anything's going to happen with that.
Dude,
so if I took all that money
even when people ask me hey, do you do a podcast? I'm like, sorta.
We're fucked.
It's a very, very loose term.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're so fucked. We just broke 10,000 subscribers, and YouTube sent me an email. I should forward it to you guys. Oh my God, if we could get one post from Matt.
I know, right?
Dude, I've put up posts. I have put up stuff.
Just one.
You've reposted something in your story once, and then both you and Josh are too lazy to put the link to it so people can swipe up to it.
That's not true. That's not true. Yeah.
Oh no, that's true for me. Yes, I'm way too lazy.
So,
Matt,
Mom, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. Talk about me. I was going to talk about Matt.
What's your Sevan? What's your morning routine look like? I'm always interested in people's mornings routines.
I need to be the first one awake. I have to be the first one awake in the house so that I can get all the shit done I want to do. So I walk over, I open up all the blinds, I turn on the coffee machine. The coffee machine warms up. It's an amazing coffee machine. You guys try to poo-poo it, but it's fucking the gold standard, a Malay. And I fire up a cup of coffee. Then I will, usually one of my kids will wake up and want to eat something. So then I feed that child something just like simple, like a quarter of a banana or something. And then that kid goes back to sleep. Then I walk the dog and I take like 5 poop bags with me because I'm like crazy about finding poop. Like if I can pick up the poop he pooped and like maybe find a couple other poops, I feel like my day is already a success, right? Because I walk everywhere on my property barefoot, and so do my kids. And so I don't want anyone ever stepping in poop. Then I come inside the house, and I usually would then move over to get in front of my computer and just start chugging coffee. And I do that. That's like between 6 and 8 a.m. I do that. I like to post twice to Instagram or to my Instagram accounts every single day, at least once.
Yeah, I see. I noticed.
And then I just start pouring through the DMs, finding stuff to repost, keep the conversation going. And then somewhere between 9 and 11, that's when I leave the house with the kids. And that's skateboard park, jiu-jitsu, tennis, ballet, all that shit that they do.
Nice.
That's
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always interesting to me, like morning routines, because how people get their day started. It's such a, I don't know, it sets the tone for the day, right? Do you make your bed?
No, because I'm the first one out.
Oh,
I don't
right,
really
right.
do.
So
I do the wash. That's like my thing. I really love doing the wash. I don't like folding clothes, but I'm super into the wash. I'm like, I don't. Matter of fact, I'll get upset.
That's a tough process, right? Taking clothes out of a laundry basket and putting them in a machine. Good for you, bro.
I like to dial in the settings right. I like to put in the exact perfect amount of soap. Okay. I like to separate the whites and the colors. I just like to make sure that all the shit comes out nice. And I dress and I'm sort of in charge of dressing the kids. I like to get the kids dressed every morning. I like that process with them, making sure they look clean, that they're dressed in the right layers for the weather. All that shit. Make sure that I want my kids to go out in the world to see them and want to engage them,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't work out in the morning because I can barely move in the morning.
Yeah, you're old.
Yeah, I'm probably, really stiff. I would work out in the morning, but every time I do, I get injured.
Yeah, I can see that.
Speaking of injury, Matt, this is something people have been asking me about both you guys. What equipment do people need for your programs?
Right now we only have one track. The second one, because the feedback we're already getting is people, with gyms getting shut down and they're at home, limited equipment. We're writing up a second track right now that's very, very low equipment, like 1 dumbbell type workouts or like 1 plate. You don't even need a full bar. But right now, the program that's getting released April 1st is you need basically in a CrossFit gym. I do it in my garage, even with a little bit of creativity, it's if I have rower in there and you only have a bike, well, just sub the calories for bike calories. It doesn't matter, but you need a full barbell, pull-up bar, a cardio machine, that type of thing. But yes, we are working on right now to have a as close to zero equipment program as possible.
Yeah, I have the same. I have my main 2, my competitive and then military. You're gonna need pretty much the same, right? A barbell, some cardio machine, pull-up bar, maybe a sandbag, and a little 1 set of dumbbells, right? Whatever you need. And then we have a no equipment or a limited equipment style workout fitness and then we always have substitutes for everything, right? So if you don't have something, we're going to tell you what to do to basically mimic that same style of movement.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just leave that up to people. If you're hey, jump to a 24-inch box and they don't have a 24-inch box, you feel like you have to explain to people what to do.
Well, I think
hey, if you don't have a wall
I know
ball.
I take the approach of I remember when I first walked into a CrossFit gym, it's super intimidating, and it's like, hey, I can't do this. Is that okay? And like you're almost asking permission, but like once I was like a year into it, or just kind of knew my way around the gym, or knew how to read the vernacular of workouts, it's like, oh, okay, I know how to sub things in and out. I know what's an appropriate scale for this or that. I always assume it's a beginner reading it, so I just try to put in, the bang for the buck notes of like, hey, if I'm writing in 50-calorie assault bike and you only have a Rogue Echo bike, well, that's perfectly fine. It's the exact same. Just do 50 calories again. But I think there are a lot of people out there that just don't have the experience. So they're kind of like, oh, I only have an Airdyne. What should I do instead? And it's like, no, the Airdyne's fine. But then like I have a lot of stuff like, sandbag or D-ball. And one of my buddies that's testing the programming for me, he's like, yo, I don't have a D-ball. What should I do? And I was like, all right, just like, sub in power cleans at this weight. And
yeah. Well, exactly. Like, so how I look at it too is these people are paying me for my programming, right?
Yeah.
Like the best part about paying for a program or getting a program is the fact that you don't have to think. You literally just are like, all right, here's what I have to do. I'm gonna go do it. So if they have to be like, well, I don't have this. What should I do instead? What was he trying to? What stimulus was he trying to make? Right? Mm-hmm. They shouldn't even have to do that. Is how I look at it. And so yes, you're gonna get a substitute for anything that you don't have or have access to. And I think that's what you deserve for a program.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I look at that. What?
I'm just thinking because I'm getting ready to release this programming on Sugar.
Oh, tell us about it. Let me hear about it. Who is it for?
I'm going to tell you later. But
tell me now. I want to hear about it.
Big, strong men. No, it's just for little kids. I'll tell you. I don't want to take your time now because I want to
talk
about it once. I want to talk about it once it's released.
Oh, but Sugar Wad, right? Sugar Wad?
Yeah, what did I say?
Sugar Wad. That's what you said. I'm just making sure.
But I don't do any of that. And I'm concerned that like what you and Matt were just saying, I'm concerned that I'm not giving that much attention to it. I'm making too many assumptions that people can figure it out. Like, hey, if you see my kids standing like on a box catching tennis balls and you don't have a box, then they can stand on anything that's safe. And I don't say that. And I'm just thinking like maybe I need to say that, or maybe I need to show them standing.
I think that will just come from experience too, of like I wrote out, like I only have my experience when writing programming. And so I wrote it up. I know what everything means. So I know how it's supposed to be read. And that's why I sent it to a lot of different people to have them test it. And like the feedback I'm getting from them, like it so thorough, and like they're just putting together like pages of notes of like, hey, loved this, maybe this needs a little more explanation. What did you mean by this? And so like they're going through it all ahead of time so that I get that feedback. But like, why would I know how to do that stuff unless I had the experience with it? So yeah, I mean, I've gone back through it with a fine-tooth comb to, I'm striving. I know I'm never going to reach perfection, but I'm always striving for perfection. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a pain because like, I think I'm done, and then I send it out to a bunch of people, and then it's like, okay, I'm not done, and even if the program is good, but like I need to add in the substitutions, I need to add some notes of like, hey, if you don't have this, this is the stimulus we're going for, because there's certain workouts where it's like, all right, I don't have that weight. Do I add more weight, or do I do more reps? Which one is the appropriate substitution? And adding in those notes so that the person has the best experience. Because like I look at that of like, if I'm paying X amount of dollars per month, well, I want my value out of it. And like, I know how I am with signing up for a subscription. No, I expect a good product out of it. Yep. And I don't want people just buying it because for whatever reason. No, I want them enjoying it. And I think word of mouth is the best salesman. And so I want to make sure that people have the best experience they can and that they want their friends to be doing it.
Do you have videos every day?
Yeah. So once a week we're going to do a Zoom call. And once again, this is something that like we did one Zoom call already, and
Did they ask about Josh and I?
it's the first thing they asked.
I can see it.
Yeah, so we did one Zoom call already, and once again, like we ran into some errors that it was like, oh, okay, we'll fix this for next time to make it better and better and better. So I want to continue doing like a weekly Zoom call and go through each piece of the programming and kind of just like give my explanation on it, what your intent, what you should be thinking about going to each piece. And then we're trying to figure out how to like economically like put in a video clip for each piece so that if someone isn't able to make it to that Zoom call, they can just click on the video link and it's like, hey, this is how the workout was written, so this is how you should do it. And just kind of give them tips and tricks through the whole thing. But like there's video demos to everything. So if someone sees a movement that I've written up and they don't know what the movement is, they can click it and we have a full library of like a movement catalog so that there's no guessing. They're not getting to the end of the workout and then seeing someone else do it and like, oh man, I did that totally wrong. It's like, nope, you got the resource right there.
Do you have videos, Josh? Do you do daily video?
We don't do daily videos. I do some videos, and then we also do a Zoom call or a Facebook Live call with our subscribers. It's monthly, and so far, to be honest, right now it was with people who are in our mental training and physical training. But we're gonna open it up to all of our just physical training as well. So, yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I think
it?
I think that piece adds such a value.
I agree.
Yeah.
I also think that's yeah, I agree. If I was signed up for programming, that's kind of what I'd be most interested in.
Yeah. It's
Just
big, exactly.
Meeting with the guy.
And understanding what the programming is about, what it is, and why it's being written, so you can get some background, and you're not just like, okay, I'm just going to do it because he told me to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'll tell you guys, be curious to hear what you guys think. So originally, SugarWad reached out to me. One of the guys who works there follows me on Instagram and Patreon, and he basically said, hey, I love your stuff. Have you thought about coming to SugarWad? We don't have anyone who does kids programming. And I'm like, no, I'm not really interested. And then he's like, well, you're doing it all anyway. Why don't you just do it? So I'm like, okay. So I put together these 50 videos of me doing stuff with my kids, and I tried to keep them super authentic. And when I got to the end of them, meaning that basically if we go in there to do one thing and it turns into something else, it's fine. Whereas you guys can't really be doing that, right? You can't go in there to do cleans and then they watch the video and find out you did sprints instead, right? So this is like you're dealing with kids and any shit can happen, and I try to show that. But after making these 50 videos and getting ready to launch last week, I realized, oh shit, maybe I should just package these 50 workouts. They're all single modality, and I should release 3 packages. A package of 50 that's single modality, a package of 50 that's couplets, and a package of 50 that's triplets. And so the single modality is basically like just how to get your kid moving and how to interact with your kid and just how to inspire them. And then couplets is just more advanced. Hey, you're going to do this movement, then this movement, and then you're going to write something on the chalkboard. 1. So what do you guys think for kids?
I don't know.
You can say you hate it.
I don't know if there's really like a wrong answer. I mean, so much of this is personal preference of like, I'm sure there's going to be people that you could do that exact thing, and there's going to be people that absolutely love it, and there's going to be people that absolutely hate it, and you're probably going to hear from both. I think it's the big thing is just making your intent clear. So when someone buys it, they know what they're getting into, like they know what they're buying. Like I've tried to make that very clear with my programming, and it's like, I'm telling them like, yeah, you may not like this. This is how I have trained. This is what I do. And I'm not going to ask a bodybuilder to come in and do rowing intervals and expect to love it. And vice versa. Like I'm not trying to go do that and hit nutrition. It's like, no, the programs aren't for everyone. You got to find what you like and what you're interested in. And, there's people that just enjoy certain types of programming. So yeah.
And I'm not making the programming for anyone. It's just what I already do.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess Right? So it's like, and if they like it, they like it. And if they don't, they don't. And you're right. That's a great line. Just tell them up front they need to know what they're buying.
Yep. Exactly. All right. I think we're good.
Yeah,
Let's end it.
I got to wrap this up.
You have to pee? Who has to pee?
I don't have to pee.
I just
I
got
gotta get going with the rest of the day. The rest of the day, baby. Continue mission. Charlie Mike,
guys are
boys.
fine.
Charlie Mike.
I wanted to talk just a couple things for next week about picking our noses when we were kids.
All right, stop the recording real quick.